This nightmare began a few months ago. I encountered something I can't explain. And now, it's after me. I don't know what it wants, but I don't think it's ever going to stop. This started on a night I can't forget, no matter how much I try. Since then, everything's changed. I haven't told anyone. I wouldn't even know how. But I have to say something now, because I'm starting to feel like I don't have much time left. And if this thing is real, then maybe it's already too late. My name's Garrett. I'm 32 and I work in marketing and sales for a mid-sized firm downtown of a small city. Or I did. I mean, I still do. But everything feels different now. A while back, my department got gutted, clean and brutally. Our manager, the guy calling the shots, the so-called backbone of the team, up and quit out of nowhere. No 2 weeks, no farewell email, just poof. Gone. And the worst part? He didn't leave empty-handed. He took 3 of our biggest clients with him, like parting gifts on his way out the door. That left us hanging by a thread. One last major client, the only thing standing between us and a total collapse. The smaller accounts? Pocket change. Just enough to keep the lights dim and the coffee lukewarm. If we didn't crush the upcoming campaign and lock in that contract extension, it was game over. Not just for us, for the whole damn division. Everything we'd built. Years of work, reputation, legacy, wiped out. Gone. And the clock was already ticking. Without our fearless leader to lead us into battle, someone had to step up. And somehow, don't ask me how or why, that someone turned out to be me. No title change, no raise, just pressure. My director called it a trial by fire. That's corporate code for, if this fails, it's your ass. I was handed an opportunity that came with a lit fuse. But if I pulled it off, a real leadership role, more money, a title that demanded respect. So yeah, I said yes. The days started bleeding into nights. I was living off black coffee, protein bars, and the faint hope that I could turn this mess around. I wasn't trying to be a hero. I just didn't want to be unemployed. Lena, that's my wife. She tried to be supportive. She works from home as a copywriter, so she gets the creative grind. But this was different. I wasn't just working late. I was pretty much living at the office. There were nights I didn't get home until 3:30 in the morning, and by then she was already asleep. I hated it, but she never made me feel guilty. Not once. She's good like that. I always admired that. The way she stayed soft, even when life got hard. For about 3 weeks straight, I was the last one in the office nearly every night. Everyone else would leave by 10, 11 if they were really pushing it. But I'd still be at my desk on the 7th floor, tightening up the campaign, obsessing over phrasing, trying to get everything perfect. The building we're in is 10 stories tall. Looks newer on the outside than it really is. Once you're inside, it's just typical office architecture. Beige walls, gray carpet, buzzing lights. After hours, it changes. No more office chatter, no printers clacking away. Just silence. Real silence. The kind that makes you notice how loud your own breathing is. There were 2 night security guards. Gene was the main guy. Early 60s, super friendly, getting close to retirement. He knew everybody's name, remembered birthdays, even brought in cookies around the holidays. If you ever needed a reason to believe good people still exist, Gene was it. The other was Kyle Ray. Mid to late 20s, short, smug, and way too confident for someone who spent most of his shift scrolling his phone. He normally worked days, but building policy required at least 1 guard to be present on any floor where someone was working after midnight. Since I was always that someone, Kyle got stuck babysitting the 7th floor, and he hated it. He didn't say it outright, but the attitude was clear. He'd do a lazy loop around the floor, then vanish for an hour. A few of the women in our office said he creeped them out, and honestly, I believed them. He had that vibe. So that was the setup. Just me, the last man standing on the 7th floor. Jean downstairs at the front desk. Kyle pretending to do rounds. And the clock slowly ticking toward a deadline that could make or break my career. At the time, I thought it was just another late night. But looking back now, I realize it was anything but. That night started out like any other. The last person from my team, Marcus, left right around 11. He gave me that look, the don't work yourself to death kind, then disappeared with a bag of cold fast food and a tired wave. I told him I wouldn't be far behind. I lied. I was in the zone. Or at least, I was pretending to be. Just me and the hum of the monitors. I had a few final edits to make, tweaks to the timeline, some copy Lena had helped me smooth out earlier. I figured I could knock it out in 30 minutes, maybe 40. Get home by midnight, 1 at the latest. But maybe 15 minutes after Marcus left, I felt something. Not a sound, not even movement, really. Just a shift. Like the floor had exhaled and I was the only one who noticed. I paused the music in my headphones and took one earbud out. That's when I caught it. A figure, tall, dark, slipping around a corner near the break room. Just a flicker. A shape where there shouldn't have been one. I turned in my chair, stared down the hallway. Nothing. I sat there a second longer, ears straining in the silence. Eventually, I shook it off and went back to work. Maybe it was someone from the 10th floor looking in to see who was burning the midnight oil. I mean, that never had happened before, but we'd never been in this position before either. The more I thought about it, the less sense it made. Still, it was easier to explain it away than to sit with the alternative. A few minutes later, I looked up and saw it again. A silhouette passing the frosted glass outside the copier room. Same height, same gait, same black suit. No cleaning cart, no vacuum. Just walking. And that was when I stood up. I didn't say anything. I just walked down the hall slowly, letting my shoes fall silent on the carpet. No sound. No motion. Just me and the stale air of the 7th floor. I called out, "Hello?" Nothing. That gnawing feeling in my gut returned, like I was being watched by something that didn't want to be seen. I knew I should have packed up and left, but I kept going. My stomach was twisting up. I figured maybe a bathroom break would shake the weirdness loose. The bathrooms past the break room and across from the old conference room no one ever uses. As I approached, I noticed the conference room door was wide open. Not cracked, not ajar. Just open. Without thinking, I looked in. And there he was. The tall man in the suit. In the back of the room. Alone. No light on. Just standing there in the dark. Perfectly still. Facing forward. Facing me. My brain buckled trying to make sense of it. What was I looking at? He wasn't moving, wasn't doing anything. Just standing there like the silence had summoned him. He was just lurking. Almost like he was waiting for me to come by. I looked away fast and kept walking to the bathroom. I didn't want to give him a reason to move. I pushed the door open, stepped inside, and made my way straight to the stall at the end. I closed the stall door behind me, dropped my pants, and sat down to take care of business. For a moment, I just tried to breathe, to remind myself I was overworked, overtired, under pressure. My nerves were messing with me. That was all. Then the bathroom door creaked open. Slow, deliberate. My entire body locked up, even my muscles tensed. I actually clenched, I mean that literally. Then, footsteps. soft, careful. They crossed the tile slowly, one padded step at a time. Then the stall next to mine opened and shut. No other sound, no rustling clothes, no breathing. Just that heavy, uncomfortable silence between us. I froze, sat completely still, didn't make a sound. I finished up, flushed, and stepped out. My eyes went straight to the mirror over the sink. It gave me a wide view of the room. Dress shoes, shiny, polished, facing forward, still. I washed my hands fast, turned off the faucet, and that's when I saw it, just barely in the reflection, the top of someone's head. The man was still inside the stall, standing, motionless, just behind the door. No movement, no noise. I didn't dry my hands. I didn't think. I just got out of there like the air behind me was on fire. I turned the corner into the kitchenette and found Kyle. He was there, leaned up against the counter, eating trail mix like the world wasn't a terrifying place. I walked up to him, shaken and angry. "Who the hell is the tall guy in the suit?" I demanded. Kyle blinked. "What?" "The guy in the suit," I said. "I've seen him walking around the floor. He was in the conference room, in the bathroom, just standing in the stall, not saying anything." Kyle gave me a look, not amused this time, just confused. He grabbed his flashlight off the counter. "Let's go look." We walked back toward the bathroom together. No jokes, no small talk. When we got there, the door was closed, and the light inside was off. Kyle opened it slowly and flipped the switch. The bathroom was empty. No dress shoes, no man, no closed stall. Just empty tile and humming lights. Kyle turned and gave me a half smile. "You're jumpy tonight, Garrett. Maybe the stress is finally catching up." "Yeah," I said. "Maybe." But I knew better. I saw that man. I saw where he was standing. And I saw the shoes, the top of his head, and the way the door never opened again. I should have left sooner. I know that now. But I tried to act normal. I went back to my desk, grabbed my bag, and walked to the elevators like I wasn't completely unraveling inside. Kyle had disappeared down another hallway to do his rounds, which probably meant scrolling through his phone somewhere quieter. I didn't care. I just wanted out of that building. I hit the button for the elevator and waited, every muscle in my body coiled tight. The chime dinged. The doors opened. I stepped inside, hit the button for the ground floor. The doors closed. And then, the elevator stopped. Floor 6. I didn't press it. The doors opened. And there he was, the tall man. Same black suit, same pale skin, same stillness. He stepped inside slowly, like someone stepping into a church. And the moment he entered, I felt it. Dread, not fear, not discomfort. I'm talking about something deeper, existential, crushing, evil. It felt like the air got heavier, like the lights dimmed, like I wasn't in an elevator anymore, but in a cage, with something that didn't belong in this world. He didn't even look at me at first, but when he turned, slowly, with a kind of impossible grace, and I saw his face fully, that's when I saw his eyes. They weren't just black, they were voids. No white, no pupil, no iris, just pure, polished, pitch-black spheres that didn't reflect the light. They drank it, empty of life, but full of malevolence. And in that moment, something inside me broke. This wasn't some weirdo from a different floor. This wasn't a cleaner in a suit or a rogue visitor. This was something else. And it didn't just threaten my life. It felt like it could take my soul. He stared at me the entire time, Not blinking, not moving, just watching. I felt nauseous, like the longer I stood near him, the more my body wanted to shut down. My stomach turned, my ears buzzed, my vision blurred at the edges. Then, in a quiet, flat tone that barely echoed in the space, he asked, "Where are you going?" It wasn't just a question. It felt like a demand, like a command I wasn't allowed to lie to. I wanted to ignore him. I wanted to scream. But instead, I heard myself say, "Home." That's when he smiled. God, that smile. It stretched too wide. His lips pulled back with slow precision, revealing yellow and brown teeth, crooked, decaying, packed so tightly it looked painful. The smell hit me second, not physically, but like my brain recognized the scent of something rotten and ancient. He didn't say another word. He just stared right into me, like he was measuring something. When the elevator finally reached the lobby, the bell dinged softly. And I didn't walk out. I fled. I stepped off that elevator like my legs were on fire, turned the corner fast, and headed straight for the security desk. Jean was there, still sipping coffee, still completely unaware. "Jean," I said, breath catching in my throat. "There's a man in the elevator, a tall guy, black suit. Something's wrong. He has black eyes, all black. I don't know what he is, but..." Jean stood up instantly. His expression shifted from relaxed to serious, like someone flipping a switch. "Where is he now?" he asked. "In the elevator. He got on the 6th floor and rode down to the lobby with me. He didn't get off. He's just standing in the corner of the elevator." Jean grabbed his flashlight, muttered, "Stay here," and started walking down the hallway toward the elevator bay. As soon as he turned the corner, I took a step after him. Just one. And then I saw it. The elevator lights were flickering. Even from down the hall, I could see them stuttering through the open doors. On, off, on again. Erratic. Like a bulb straining to stay alive under pressure. Jean cautiously approached the elevator, his flashlight on, and at the ready. "Hello?" Jean said as he inched his way closer. He was starting to make his way around so he could look inside of the elevator. The elevator lights suddenly went out, filling the area in complete darkness, except for Jean's flashlight. I stopped cold. That was enough for me. That sudden darkness flipped a primal switch in me. It was like the building itself was warning me, "Leave now." So I did. I turned and ran. I didn't wait to see what happened next. Didn't say goodbye. I pushed through the doors into the night and sprinted across the parking lot. And that's when it hit me. I'd parked in the back, all the way in the last row, under a busted light, near a line of half-dead trees and an empty delivery dock. It felt convenient when I arrived. Now it felt like a death sentence. Every shadow looked too tall. The silence felt like it was listening. My keys felt slippery in my hands as I dug them out. I could barely breathe. I threw open the car door, slammed it shut behind me, and locked it twice out of reflex. I sat there for just a second, trying to catch my breath. And that's when the building behind me went completely dark. Every floor, the lobby, the parking lot lights, gone. The only light left came from my headlights, a narrow tunnel pointed toward nothing. I didn't wait. I started the engine and floored it, tearing out of the lot so fast my tires chirped. I drove through a sleeping city that just became much darker. Streetlights, all out. No cars, no movement. Just black windows and a sense of emptiness I've never felt before or since. And in that darkness, as the road stretched ahead of me, it hit me. That man definitely was not a man. It had to be something paranormal. A boogeyman or something. Regardless, whatever that thing was. I prayed it wouldn't be there when I came back in the morning. I barely slept that night. 4 hours, maybe less, and even that was broken. I kept replaying things I didn't want to see again. That elevator, that moment, that thing, its eyes. I didn't tell Lena. Not because I didn't trust her. I just didn't know what to say. How do you describe the kind of fear that doesn't even make sense out loud? So I got up early, forced down 2 coffees, and drove to the office trying to convince myself it was over, that it had just been a bad night, nothing more. Then I pulled into the parking lot. There were 5 police vehicles outside the building, 3 marked cruisers, 2 unmarked, and 4 detectives. They weren't swarming, but they weren't casual either. There was an urgency in the way they moved, like the window for answers was already closing. Inside the lobby, the atmosphere was tight, quiet, like the building itself had tensed up. Someone from HR waved me over before I even made it to the elevators. "Garrett," she said, "they need to speak with you upstairs." When I reached the 7th floor, I found my director, Stanley, standing beside 2 of the detectives. His usual cool demeanor was gone. His suit looked slept in. He gave me a faint nod. "The detectives just need a few minutes." One of them stepped forward, flipping open a notepad. "Mr. Moore," he said, "you were in the building last night?" "Yes, I was working late." "What time did you leave?" "Around 1:30 a.m. He exchanged a glance with the other detective before continuing. "We're trying to establish a timeline. The 2 night security guards, Gene Paulson and Kyle Ray Hinton, are missing. Kyle never made it home last night. His mother called to report him missing early this morning. And Gene," he paused, "wasn't at his post when the morning guard came in to relieve him. No sign of either one." I felt the back of my neck go cold. The detective went on. "Their gear is still here. Phones, jackets, everything. Their cars are still parked in the lot." "What about the security footage?" I asked. He nodded grimly. "The entire building's camera system went offline last night just after 11:07 p.m. IT is working on it, but so far there's nothing to review." They asked if I had seen or heard anything strange. I told them the truth, or a version of it. "There was a man," I said. "Tall, in a black suit. Got on the elevator with me. Didn't speak. I got off in the lobby. He stayed in." I told them I let Gene know. They wrote it down. "Anyone you recognized?" the detective asked. "No, I've never seen him before." Another detective nodded, closing his notepad. "All right. If anything else comes to mind, feel free to reach out. We'll be in touch if anything turns up." And that was it. Just like that, I was dismissed. By the end of the day, the company had already replaced both guards. New guys. Fresh uniforms. Smiling like this was just another Tuesday. Stanley held a short meeting around lunch. He told us to support the investigation, be respectful, and keep pushing forward with the campaign. Like this was just a hiccup, a weird headline. But it wasn't. Kyle and Gene were gone, still missing. No new leads. And though no one said it, we all felt it, like something was still hanging in the air. So I went back to work, locked in, met deadlines, grinded away, and for a little while, that was enough. In the end, all of the hard work and sacrifice paid off. The campaign was a massive success. The client loved it. They called it one of the best campaigns they'd ever had. They said it was bold, refined, sophisticated, modern. It captured everything they wanted, and then some. And the data supported that. Early numbers were through the roof, record-breaking. Within 2 weeks, they doubled their scope. Within a month, they signed a new long-term contract. That was the highlight of not only my year, but my career. The success came with a promotion that came with a title I hadn't even dared to hope for. With that brand new title came a corner office with a view. The corresponding pay bump was so big I had to reread the offer 3 times before it sank in. For the first time in a while, I felt like I'd made it. And for a little while, I let myself believe that night. The elevator, the guards, the flickering lights, was behind me. A dark chapter I didn't have to revisit. About a month later, on a quiet evening, things shifted. I was coming home from the office when I turned into our neighborhood, and there he was, the tall, black-eyed man in the black suit, standing perfectly still in a neighbor's yard, half concealed by the limbs of an old tree. No movement, no sound, just watching, like he'd been waiting for me to come home. I froze, foot hovering over the brake. My headlights caught just enough of his face to make out. His inky black eyes. No expression. No recognition. Just that same stillness, like a figure carved from shadow. A chill pulsed through my body. For a moment, I couldn't tell if he was real, or if my mind was starting to crack. As I slowed the car, he stepped backward into the dark and disappeared. That night, I told Lena about my sighting. I said some of the neighbors had seen him too, a tall guy in a black suit, hanging around. That was a lie. No one else had mentioned him. But I needed her to take it seriously without knowing how deep it really went. She listened. "Do you think he's dangerous?" she asked. "I don't know," I said. "But if you see him, go inside. Lock the door. Don't talk to him." She nodded. "Okay." And just like that, he was a part of our lives. After that, he started appearing everywhere. I saw him during my nightly walk with Neil, our pit bull. Neil was fierce in appearance, but gentle, loyal to the core. The kind of dog that made strangers cross the street without thinking. But not the black-eyed man. He didn't move, didn't blink. Didn't even seem to notice Neil, like we were the ones out of place. He just stood there behind a chain-link fence, head slightly tilted, studying us like we were something curious. The worst part? Neil felt him. He'd stiffen, ears pinned back, then whine, soft and anxious, before pulling hard on the leash to get away. I'd never seen him like that, not even around aggressive dogs. After that, the man started appearing everywhere. At the end of the cul-de-sac, he stood frozen, unnaturally still, half shrouded behind trees and fences, like the world bent to keep him partly hidden. At night, I'd see him beneath a streetlight that should have worked, but didn't. His face swallowed in shadow, his suit far too crisp for the dirt beneath him. I began to notice a pattern. Any streetlight he stood under would go dark, not flicker, not fade, just off. And it stayed that way until he left. And sometimes, just beyond the glass, behind a fogged-up window, his silhouette would cut clean through the haze. Still, silent, unmistakably him. Always silent, always still, but never gone. And then, the pets started disappearing. At first, it was a missing cat, an indoor one, somehow gone without a trace. Then a golden retriever from 2 doors down, a parrot, a pair of dachshunds. One by one, they vanished. No broken gates, no scattered fur, no sounds in the night. Just gone. The neighborhood group chat lit up with concern, then panic. Flyers went up. Flashlights swept backyards. Parents started calling their kids in before dark. People talked about coyotes, about thieves, about nothing at all, because no one wanted to say what they were really thinking. But I'd seen him, and Neil had sensed him. And I couldn't help but feel like the disappearances weren't random. They were a pattern, a message. It was a late Tuesday night. The air was cool, the breeze hinting at colder days to come. The neighborhood was silent. Too silent. Too many missing dogs. Even the squirrels were scared. The wind felt like it was holding its breath. Neil scratched at the back door like always. I let him out and watched him trot toward the trees, nose down, tail alert. Nothing unusual. 10 minutes passed. Then 20. Still no sign of him. Usually he'd be pawing to come back in by now. Instead, there was nothing. No tags jingling. No paws on the patio. Just stillness. A nervous chill crept up my spine. I stepped onto the deck and called his name. Once, twice. Silence. The yard was fenced. He couldn't have gotten far. I grabbed a flashlight, heart pounding with every rustle in the dark. But Neil was gone. No broken boards, no sign of a struggle. Just gone. Like the others. And then I saw him, the black-eyed man, at the edge of the yard, closer than ever. No fence, no sidewalk. Just him, watching. He didn't move, didn't blink, just stared. And I knew. Neil wasn't coming back. This was his way of telling me. He's mine now. My stomach dropped. I backed into the house, locked the door without thinking. Hands shaking, breath short. Neil was gone. And that thing wanted me to know it. I didn't sleep. I just sat in the dark, waiting for the sun. Lena found me in the kitchen the next morning, still in the same clothes, eyes bloodshot from a night without sleep. "Where's Neil?" she asked, rubbing her eyes. I hesitated, swallowed hard. "He ran off," I said. "Slipped out of the yard." I looked everywhere. She stared at me, waiting. Maybe for more. Maybe for the truth. But I didn't have anything else to give her. Not anything I could say out loud. She nodded slowly, lips pressed tight. I could tell she didn't believe it. Not really. But she didn't ask again. We printed missing posters, taped them to poles and mailboxes, walked the streets together. She was heartbroken, and I knew it was pointless. He wasn't lost. He was taken. That evening, while Lena was taping a flyer to the stop sign at the end of our street, I happened to glance up at our house and froze. He was there, in our upstairs window, the black-eyed man, just standing behind the glass, framed by the curtains, watching us. His face was pale, almost gray, stretched into something that resembled a grin, but felt entirely wrong. Not a smile, a sneer, cruel and deliberate. Like he wanted me to know he was inside, like he was enjoying it. Those black, endless eyes locked onto mine like he'd been waiting for me to notice. "Lena," I whispered. "The window. Look." She turned, and just like that, he was gone. We didn't hesitate. We sprinted home, our shoes slamming the pavement, hearts pounding, too afraid to go inside. We called the cops from the sidewalk, hands shaking, eyes on the window. But by the time they arrived, the house was quiet. 4 officers searched our entire house. They found nothing. No sign of forced entry. No physical evidence anyone had been in the house other than us. When I described the man, tall, wearing a black suit, one of the officers gave me a strange look. A polite, blank expression that tried to hide what they were really thinking. "You sound insane." But the police didn't dismiss us. They couldn't. There were too many missing pets. Too many unexplained events in our neighborhood over the past couple of months. Dozens of reports made by most of our neighbors. Something sinister was happening in our normally safe area, and it was well documented. So they started patrolling our neighborhood at night. Marked cars slowly driving past mailboxes and porch lights. But I knew it wouldn't matter. He doesn't care about locks or police presence. He comes for what he's already claimed. and I think he's already claimed me. The dread has settled into me like rot. He's in my thoughts, in my dreams. The pressure in the room changes when he's close, like gravity folds in on itself. A few days later, the police detective that was investigating Jean and Kyle's disappearance called. He said he wanted to do a follow-up. Some things didn't quite line up, he said. Just a few more questions. I haven't called him back yet, but I'm thinking about it. Thinking about telling him everything. The black-eyed man. Everything that really happened in my office building that night. The events in my neighborhood. All of it. Even if it sounds crazy. Because I don't know what else to do. And now? Now I'm alone. Lena left this morning to visit her mom and sister out of town. Just for a week. She was hesitant at first. She was worried about leaving me all alone. I told her I'd be fine. But I lied. I am scared. And I don't think anyone can help me. Like no one could have helped Jean and Kyle. I've been sitting here in the living room for over an hour now. No lights, no TV. Just the soft hum of the fridge down the hall and the glass pane that looks out into our backyard. I haven't moved. Barely even blinked. There's something about the way the night feels tonight. Something is different. I am completely consumed with dread. I can't explain it. I feel like something awful is coming for me. And then, I saw it. Movement. Barely noticeable. Just a ripple along the tree line in the backyard. The kind of shift your eyes catch before your brain has time to explain it away. I leaned forward, heart pounding. And there he is. He's there. The man in the suit. Standing perfectly still near the edge of the yard. The trees behind him, black and skeletal in the moonlight. His posture, unnatural, rigid, too calm. That awful twisted smile, stretched impossibly wide, filled with yellowed, rotting teeth, like something dead pretending to be alive. His skin is pale, waxy, like it doesn't belong outside of a morgue. And his eyes, those eyes, two bottomless pits of black, not just dark, but swallowing the moonlight, drinking in the world like they're tired of watching and ready to consume. They're locked onto me, through the glass, through the dark, and they're oozing something evil, like he doesn't need to move to hurt me, like it's already happening. But this time, he's not just watching, he's waving, slowly, one hand raised, fingers moving back and forth with this horrible, mocking rhythm, like he's been waiting, like he's saying, "You see me now. Good." Like he's telling me with every curl of his fingers, "You're next." And I think my time is up.